Welcome to Secrets of the Stars, where we explore the ancient knowledge of astrology, decode your unique blueprint, and unveil how the wisdom of the sky contributes to your life. I'm your host, Abby Lutis, astrologer, mentor, and sky guide. It's time to embark on a cosmic adventure of self-discovery and understanding why you are the way you are. Let's dive in. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Secrets of the Stars. I am so excited to be back in here with a new episode, the Astrology of February. And I am excited to be back for this episode because I haven't recorded an episode since the 1st of December. So we are back. And one thing that is truly exciting about this podcast is that this is the first time I am recording on video as well as audio. So I really wanted to start doing some video podcasts because there is so much that I can show you on the chart. For those of you who know a little bit about astrology, I want to show you where this is all happening so you can see it for yourself. So you can head over and watch the video version and just bear with me as I work at transitioning to this beautiful space. I've been recording podcasts since 2018. But they've all been audio. So I'm super excited to be here with you on video. Now, I have been here in Perth and I am truly enjoying the summer here. I just had a beautiful friend come and stay with me and we explored Perth. It was quite hot though. It's been very hot over here. And we had a particular day. We went out to Rottnest Island and we got to go around the island on a speedboat. We saw dolphins. We swam in the crystal clear waters. And it was just so incredibly beautiful. So I am coming off of that and I'm really loving the weather over here. So that is where I'm at. Now, if you can see, I am in a house sit. And so my background is probably going to be changing as I continue with these video versions. All right. So we are recording this on an Aquarius new moon as we close out the month of January. It's a beautiful time to start and set intentions for what you want to manifest when it comes to your future vision. So what a beautiful way to restart this podcast. And let's jump in. Now, you might have known that I was looking at weekly astrology forecasts, but I'm going back to monthly. I've been chopping and changing, but I just think that it is more impactful for my community. So I'm not going to be looking at every single transit that is happening. I'm just going to be looking at the main energies and we'll go through them all as we get deep into this episode. So let's jump in and we start. February kicks off with a Pisces Stellium. And I really want to show you this in the chart. So if you're watching, come and have a look on the video version as I show you where this is happening in the chart. So when we kick off February, you'll see up here in Pisces, we have all these planetary energies. The moon is in Pisces. We also have Venus, we have Neptune, Saturn over here, and the North Node. So it is a real focus on Pisces energy here in the chart. And that's what stelliums are. They are focused energy. And so a stellium is when there are 4 or more planets in a sign, and it's focused energy on that sign. So mutable water is the archetype of Pisces, or it is the elements and the modes of Pisces, and the archetype is the 2 fish that swim in opposite directions. So I see this as this connection of the physical and the non-physical, with the fish swimming in polarity. And I really think that this is really beautifully connecting to creativity, imagination, and spirituality. Because if you think of this connection or this idea that it's the physical connecting with the non-physical, that's what all of those things represent. Creativity is something that we dream up in our minds and we make it into real form. So is imagination. Spirituality, we connect with things that you might not be able to see, touch, or feel. And so, this is what I believe is Pisces energy. Pisces is also the last sign of the zodiac, and it can represent endings. Now, there are multiple stelliums going on throughout this year, but this is the biggest, concentrated, longest, most focused stellium that we will see in 2025. So, you want to look to your chart to see where Pisces shows up, and you can see where this energy might be playing out. Now, the month is starts off with some really beautiful energy. We have on the 2nd of February, Venus making a conjunction to Neptune. Now, these two signs are very similar in nature. In fact, let me show you on the chart what I mean when they are making a conjunction, because essentially a conjunction is when the planets are at the same degree point. Now, you can see here in the chart, Venus is at 28 degrees. Neptune is also at 28 degrees. And in fact, the North Node is also at 28 degrees. So that's only going to intensify this stellium that we see and this energy of Venus conjuncting Neptune. So I see these two signs being very similar in nature. Venus is about relationships, it's about beauty, love, the divine feminine. And Neptune represents creativity, spirituality, romance, dreams. And it's a little bit mysterious. Now, I'm only mentioning the light qualities. You know, we could also look to Venus representing laziness or gluttonous, and we could look to Neptune representing things that are a bit foggy or you can't quite see. Also, addictions comes under Neptune's realm. But let's just look at, and it's definitely worth looking at those both sides of the coin. But I think these two together are going to make a very harmonious alignment and energy on the 2nd of February. So when they join together, I like to say that it is like putting on the rose-colored glasses. It's like seeing all the beautiful and lovely things. So this is a great day to fill up your cup, do something for yourself, spend time nurturing and loving yourself, dive into some sort of self-care practice, or even spend time with close friends, loved ones. It's a beautiful, dreamy, even romantic day because, Venus loves being in Pisces. Also, Neptune loves being in Pisces. So that is why I believe this energy will express in a positive way. Coming up on the 4th of February, after this beautiful conjunction, things start to change a little bit because Venus moves into Aries. Now, this is a territory that Venus is not familiar with. It's Mars's territory, okay? Mars is the ruler of Aries, and Venus is considered to be in detriment in Aries. So what that actually means is that Venus doesn't really have the tools or the resources available to do her job as she normally would. In Pisces, Venus loves being in Pisces and she has all the things, the energies are similar. She has the tools available to do her job. But when she's in Aries, it's different energy. It's this hot, fast-paced, fiery, action-orientated energy. And that's not really what Venus is about. Venus is more about receiving, it's about beauty and connection through relationships. However, Aries is fiery. It's the go-getting energy. And so this is how the Venusian energy will express. It'll be a fiery feminine. It'll be fiery when it comes to friendships. It's a motivating, starting energy. So that's how the Venus energy will show up. Now, Venus is also going retrograde in Aries at the beginning of March. So I want you to pay attention to any of the themes that are coming up pretty much from now and until this retrograde begins, because they might be on your radar during Venus retrograde. Now, Jupiter also stations direct on the 4th, and this is a really nice energy too. It's a changing in direction type energy. So with Jupiter coming out of retrograde, it's starting to end this big retrograde. We've had Uranus, Mars, and Jupiter, and Uranus stationed direct at the end of January, and now Jupiter stations direct. So we only have Mars in retrograde. So this backwards energy is starting to turn around. So themes that might turn and shift for you are that of the Jupiter qualities. So things like abundance, expansion, growth, opportunities. Your luck might change. Jupiter is the benefic, the greater benefic, which represents the beautiful, fortunate, prosperous energy. So this could be a really big turning point for many people. So that day, the 4th of February, is one you want to mark in your diaries. Then on the 9th of February, the Sun makes a conjunction with Mercury. This is also called a Mercury Cazimi. So the word Cazimi is an Arabic term that means in the heart of the Sun. And a conjunction is essentially when planets come together. So think of it like when Mercury is in this position, aligning with the Sun, it's getting purified, it's being illuminated when it is in the heart of the Sun. And so the energies or the qualities of Mercury will become very clear. So it's a day of clarity, it's a day of ideas, communicating clearly. But interestingly, the thing is, when Mercury moves out of this position of Cazimi being exactly in the Sun and it shifts just slightly, it's considered to be under the beams of the Sun. So if you think of the Sun shining its rays down and then a planet just sitting off to the side, it's like this energy is being shone out. So it's like it can't be seen. And this means that the qualities are more or less hidden. So we do have this unique moment in time where the energies are really clear, and then it's almost as if they become hidden. So just watch for that on the 9th of February. Then we move to the 13th of February, where we have a beautiful full moon in Leo. And who doesn't love a full moon in Leo? The energy of this is bold, it's fun loving, and it's really creative. And this is the Leo energy expressing in our emotions because that's what the moon represents. So these beautiful energies are likely to be heightened with the sun shining directly on the moon, emphasizing these Leo energies. Think of it as a peak point or accumulation. But also remember that full moons are about letting go and releasing. So maybe something is coming up to be released. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows because this moon is ruled by Uranus, which is making a tense aspect to the sun and the moon. All right. So don't be surprised if there is a little bit of extra chaos. There might be change. Things might feel tense. It might feel a little hard. Just don't be surprised if that comes into the mix on this full moon. I generally find full moons a little bit more intense than new moons. And so, with this added extra element of Uranus making this square to the moon and the sun, it could throw things off kilter a little bit. Mercury is also in a square with Uranus. So just be careful with your communication. If you're traveling, these types of things, could get a little heated and challenging during this Leo full moon happening on the 13th. So then we move to the 14th, and Mercury is shifting into Pisces. Now, like I was explaining before with Venus, Mercury doesn't like being in Pisces. Mercury is considered in fall in Pisces, and as I mentioned with Venus being in Aries, it's like Mercury doesn't have the tools to do his job or her job. Mercury is a mixed gender planet. That's why I say his or hers. But it doesn't have the tools to do their job properly. All right. So Pisces energy, let me explain this and this will start to make sense. So Pisces energy is dreamy, it's elusive, it's disillusioned, it's abstract. Yes, it's creative and romantic and, connected to spirituality. And they're the energies of Pisces. But Mercury is very detail oriented. It wants focus. It wants to check the tasks off. Now you can see how those energies don't quite align. So this is a great time for thinking creatively, using your imagination and using your mind for that. And it's also important to be very clear on what it is that you're trying to say, what it is you're trying to communicate, because Pisces energy can make things a little bit foggy. So, sometimes the message might not get through when we have Mercury moving through Pisces. All right. Then on the 18th, we have the sun entering Pisces. So Pisces season begins. And I want to show you again because this activates another stellium in the Pisces areas of your chart. So that first stellium only really lasts for a few days at the beginning of February. But if we move along to the 18th of February, when the sun moves into Pisces, you can see here again, we have this focused energy. We have the sun, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, and the North Node. So we have the four planets and the North Node point in Pisces. So this again kicks off another massive stellium in Pisces. So just that stellium is going to be with us until the 3rd of March, all right? And it is a lot of Pisces energy. So just remember that that is happening. The other thing about Pisces is that it is the last season of the astrological year. It's the last sign of the zodiac. And so it can be this time of ending. So when the sun shifts in there, it's beginning to illuminate this energy. And this energy is going to be intensified because of that stellium. So it's that creativity, that connection to our spirituality, romance. And the other thing about Pisces is that it is the sign of the ocean. So there might be ocean themes coming up, or you might feel like you need to get to the ocean, or even just water is enough. Now, I also like to say that the ocean is sometimes wild, it's sometimes calm and glassy, and this is how Pisces can be as well. It's a mutable sign, so its energy can be anything from wild to calm and anything in between. It's constantly changing, it's constantly adapting. Now, it is also elusive. It's also delusional. So, on the more challenging side of the Pisces energy, things can be unclear. And you want to watch if that energy is creeping in, especially with all these planets in Pisces activating this area. Pisces can also make you want to feel like you need to escape, which sometimes can be exactly what you need to do. So if you're not escaping to get away from something that you should be facing, then take it if you need it. This Pisces energy is a lot. There is a lot of Pisces energy hanging around this year. So use it to your advantage. Take what you need. This energy can also help you connect with the higher realms. As I said earlier, it's the two fish swimming in opposite directions. And I see that as the connection between the physical and the non-physical. So, maybe your intuition or your spiritual gifts will be coming online in a more heightened way. Now, when the sun is moving through Pisces, I always say, look in your chart. Some people say to me, I don't have Pisces in my chart. And I say, yes, you do. You will always have something in Pisces. And I can even give you an example of this as I show my chart here and how it can relate. So I'll show you my chart and I'll also show you the energy of the now chart so that we can see how we always do have energy happening in a certain area of the chart. Okay, so let me just pull it up here. Thank you for your patience as I work out. Okay, so let me share my screen and show you how, because I also don't have any planets in Pisces. This is my chart here. And you can see Pisces down here in the 3rd house. I don't have any planets here in Pisces, but it does rule over the 3rd house, okay? So the 3rd house is what is going to be activated for me. So even though I don't have planets or points in Pisces, I'm going to be looking to the 3rd house. I might also be looking to the ruler of the 3rd house, which I know is Jupiter, and Jupiter, where is that in my chart? It's over here in the 11th house. And I can also look to Jupiter in the current day sky. So that is a way that you can understand where things are happening when it comes to the sun and the planets moving through your chart. You don't have to have planets in that area of your chart. All right, let's move on because on the 24th, this is going to be a nice day to be moving on from, I believe, because Mars is stationing direct. Now, Mars has been in retrograde since the 7th of December. So that is nearly 3 months of Mars retrograde. And I say this all the time. Mars is one of the most difficult planets to experience in retrograde. It is the rarest of the retrogrades. It only happens every 2 years. And the other reason it's difficult is because it's natural energy. Mars's natural energy is to move forward and take action and express, all right? It's the divine masculine energy, and that's what its job is. That's what it embodies, okay? But retrogrades are energies of going backwards, okay? So you can see how this is already not a retrograde can also be an internal energy. So these energies are definitely butting heads, okay? So this is why Mars retrograde is challenging. Now, you might have been feeling stuck, stagnant, tired, or burnt out, not being able to move forward, not seeing action happening or progress. And even in some cases, I didn't really have too much of that. I've had a little bit of feeling stagnant in some areas. But for me, physical energy falls under Mars. And for me, I've really had to go back and review how I'm looking and using and expending my physical energy and what is working for me and where I can feel in alignment. So you might not have these big feelings of stuck or burnout or these sorts of things, but there might be something where you are reviewing something that when it comes to the Mars energy. Now, the days that they station direct and station retrograde are generally the most impactful days, okay? Because it's this time where the planet is, from our perspective, in a holding pattern. It's essentially still. Think of like a pendulum that swings and it gets to one end and it's just holding there. It stops for a moment in time. That is the energy of the station day. So Mars is the archetype of the god of war. So it represents the action, the forward motion, the physical energy, as I mentioned, aggression, fighting, protection, and so much more. So have a look and see over the last 3 months, has any of these themes been coming up for you? But the good news is that things are going to start moving forward. Now, Mercury is also making a trine to Mars, and this is exact just before Mars stations direct. So, this could feel a little bit more like there is some focused energy to sort of to move to get things going quickly because Mars is very swift. It's also intellectual, so up in the mind. So, it might be something that is happening in your mind. So, just pay attention to what is happening on the 24th. Now, when Mars stations direct, it marks this very small window where we have all planets in direct motion, which means we have zero planets in retrograde. So now what I want to say is that this window is not very big. It's only 8 days because we'll soon be seeing Venus start her retrograde, which happens in March. Now, over the last few years, we have seen larger chunks of time where all planets have been direct. Now, I believe last year it was a 9 week window. So just having 8 days is not very much. We do actually get another chunk of time at the end of Venus retrograde, and that's a little bit longer, but it is not common really to have such a small window where there's no retrogrades. This year is a big retrograde year. So you want to make use of this when you can. So with all planets in direct motion, this energy is really about moving forward, progressing things, gaining momentum. It's great for new beginnings and fresh starts, pushing forward towards your goals, taking initiative to move forward with personal projects, with even your physical energy, and normally without delays or obstacles as well. So it's a great time to find clarity in decision making and really find confidence in pursuing your aspirations. The energies are can focus on growth, expansion, and taking action because all planets are moving forward. We can externally express these energies and we can move forward, right? So without any retrogrades, There's no need to be looking back, no need to be reviewing or reworking anything in this time. So, put simply, we can just move forward with the powerful energy and the inspiration. So this window is short. It's only 8 days. And I want to say that this might not show up as intensely as it normally would because Venus is moving into her retrograde in just 8 days' time after this, after Mars stations direct. The window at the other end is probably going to be the more powerful window of the planets moving forward. But that doesn't happen until April, and I'll talk more about that when it comes online. All right, then on the 25th, we have Mercury making a conjunction to Saturn. So, this energy is about an important lesson. Maybe there is something that you're learning or about to learn. I like to describe Saturn as the planet. It's the planet of time, but it's also the planets of limits and boundaries and responsibility. And it can sometimes represent our upper limits. And if there is an upper limit that you have been facing, have you been disciplined, and have you been really trying to understand what it is that you need to break through this upper limit? Well, Mercury, the planet of messages and communication, could bring some important insights on the 25th of February. So this energy can feel constricting because that's what Saturn does, but in a good way because it's a harmonious alignment. And so sometimes we need constriction. We need to get rid of things so that we can think clearly. So during this transit, I want you to be thinking, especially before you're speaking, and getting to the point of what you're trying to say because it's that concise energy as well. Then on the 28th, we have a new moon in Pisces. And I'm also going to show you this in the chart because we still have that Pisces stellium going on. And the thing about it, when the moon enters on the 28th, is that now we will have 5 planets in Pisces. So that is intensifying this stellium yet again. So here we go. You can see when the moon shifts in on the 28th of February, we will have that new moon. We now have the moon, the sun, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Venus is gone, and we still have the North Node. So all of those planets, there's only a handful of other planets left. Venus is in Aries, Uranus in Taurus, Jupiter in Gemini, and Mars in Cancer. So all of the energies are being focused on this Pisces area of your chart. So this full moon is going to be, it's going to be extra Pisces. Now, I say that Pisces new moon is a great time to set intentions around deepening your creativity, connecting with your dreams, connecting with your intuition, your spiritual practices, because remember, it's that connection between the physical and the non-physical. And the moon is being influenced by all these other planets in Pisces. So it's intensified. And I feel like there could be a lot come of this new moon. Now, you can set intentions for the month moon cycle. You can also set intentions for the year, the 12-month cycle of the moon. And as we see the full moon in Pisces, you might see things come into fruition. Now, as I said, new moons, I don't know if I said this in this episode, but new moons focus on new beginnings. But because Pisces is that last sign of the zodiac, and all these planets that we have in this stellium, they're getting ready to leave Pisces. This new moon could have a completion energy about it. So whilst it's an intention, it might be an intention of wrapping something up or closing something down, or a newness in the sense that is something is finishing, if you can understand how these energies are aligning. I hope that makes sense for you. But we finish off February with that beautiful new moon in Pisces. And, there is a lot going on. I'm kind of looking forward to this energy. There's some changes happening. We have planets coming out of retrograde. We have planets shifting signs. The month starts off really lovely with that beautiful conjunction with Venus and Neptune. I think it's going to be a good month. I'm really saying that this month is setting us up for the next few months because when we get into March and April, there is lots of energy moving and shaking. Let me tell you that it is wild. So strap in, set yourself up this February, and I look forward to be back in here sharing with you what's happening in March. But there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you've enjoyed the video version. And if you have, please leave me a comment because I would love to connect with you, what landed for you, what you learned. And I would absolutely love, love, love a review wherever you listen to your podcast or watch your podcast, because it really helps me to get the word out there and share this beautiful tool of astrology. Now, if you are interested in booking a reading with me, I have some 2025 offers available where we can get to look into your energies personally, how 2025 is going to be playing out to you, for you. I have a report and a report and reading offer, and it really dives deeper into how you can best use this energy. And it is a really powerful year, 2025. I've said it so many times and I'll say it again. It's the biggest astrological energy that I have seen. And so you want to harness this energy. So come on down, book a reading with me. You can go and check it all out on my website, abbylutis.com. And until next time, keep shining bright. Thank you for joining me on this cosmic journey of self-discovery. If you have enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and share it with someone who you think would love it. Keep exploring the secrets of the stars, and remember, the universe has woven a unique story just for you. Until next time, keep shining bright.